Hey guys, this is me, Kevin Murphy, on my channel called Narcissistic Abuse, Learning Who I Am Again. It has been quite a while since I've done a video, so Happy New Year to those people who I haven't seen for a while. And if this is your first time tuning into my channel, welcome. So today I want to talk about covert narcissism and how they promote codependency. So I want to first start out talking about the difference between covert narcissism versus overt narcissism. So the overt narcissist is someone that is outwardly brash and someone that appears incredibly confident in themselves. They seem to be they feel that, in other words, their shit don't stink. Whereas the covert narcissist is very quiet. They lay back in the cut and they try to observe your every move. So the covert narcissist is usually the victim. They usually don't have a whole lot of confidence in themselves. They come across as very just kind of standoffish, aloof, just kind of to themselves. These covert narcissists are normally introverts, so they're people that usually take on professions within tech or take on professions that don't involve a whole lot of people interaction or empathy, things of that nature. The covert narcissist they usually don't have a whole lot of deep friendships or deep relationships because they struggle with a lot of intimacy issues. The covert narcissist also they too lack empathy, just like the overt narcissist does. But the main thing that is the difference between a covert and an overt narcissist is the fact that the overt narcissist, you get to see them for who they are. And they're easy to spot, where the covert narcissists, they're very difficult to spot. So the covert narcissist will come across as very charming. They'll come across as very they fake empathy, and they're very good at manipulating people. So the covert narcissist is incredibly manipulative, incredibly toxic, and they do little things to play with your buttons. So I was involved in a situation with a covert narcissist pretty recently, and I'll go into more detail on a later video about some of the things that I experienced in that relationship. But the covert narcissist will make you feel like you're going crazy. The covert narcissist will make you feel like your reality is not present. So that narcissist will make you feel as if, so for example, you can be having a conversation with a covert narcissist. You can feel that somehow they are distancing themselves from you. And that covert narcissist will say, "Oh no, I'm not distancing myself from you. Oh, you're just imagining things." Now, for a fact that you notice that there is a change in the relationship. You notice that if the covert narcissist was texting you two or three times a week, and then all of a sudden that covert narcissist is not texting you either at all, or they are only texting you maybe once a week without any explanation. Usually the covert narcissist will stop doing certain things for you or doing certain things with you just out of the blue. And normally this happens when you've inflicted a narcissistic injury, or just to see where you're at emotionally with that narcissist. So the thing is, with the covert narcissist, it's the same thing with the overt narcissist, with the level of stages and as far as like the love bombing stage, the devaluation stage, and the discard stage. So with the love bombing stage, that covert narcissist will sit back and they will study you. They will start asking you a lot of questions about your background. They will study your body language. They will study just the kind of person you are, and to see if you would be a good source of supply for them. Once they have studied you enough and they see a lot of qualities about you, which, you're empathic, you like working with children, you like the way you respond to certain things. This is their way of trying to get you to open up to them. So they will feign care and compassion for you just so that way you can let your guard down. Once you let your guard down and you show them that soft side of you, they're getting supply from you. So you may, they'll love bomb you by sending you text messages every single day. They will love bomb you by buying you flowers, by getting you gifts, depending on what your love language is, depending on what you receive as love. That narcissist is going to do all of those things, and they will love on you to the hilt until as long as you're giving them supply and as long as you're giving them positive feedback, they're going to continue that love bombing stage. After a while, that covert narcissist will start pulling back. So that covert narcissist will go from texting you every single day to texting you maybe two or three times a week, and then eventually stop initiating texting you at all. So that you might confront that narcissist and say, hey, you're not texting me as much as you used to. And somehow that narcissist will spin it and make it seem like you're being needy. You're being clingy to them because you are responding in a way, in a normal, healthy way of them distancing. And so what they do is they will communicate. They'll talk in riddles. So they'll say things. They'll make excuses for their behavior. They will say things. They will say things that don't even make any sense, and it leaves the person who is on the receiving end very confused, because here it is, I'm doing all of these things for you, and I'm thinking that we're having a really good relationship, and then all of a sudden you're not. You're sending me all of these mixed signals. You're telling you're pulling back from me, and you're distancing from me, and you're not even communicating with me. And this is their way of trying to see how far you'll go, and then you'll start chasing them. So the more they distance, the more you chase after them, the more you try to work harder to get back to that original love bombing stage. And the thing is, that love bombing stage, you will never get back to that love bombing stage. You may get glimpses of it, but you will never get back exactly to where you need to be. And the covert narcissist will try to formulate codependent relationships by giving you all of the things that you want, by telling you that, oh, you can rely on me for everything. You can be, you can tell me everything, and lean on me for things. You don't need Billy or Bobby or Sally or anybody else. You just depend on that narcissist, and that's what they want, and that's their way of trying to hook you into depending on them. So when you either piss them off, or when they're ready to move on to the devaluation stage, they make you feel like you're going crazy. And that's what happened with me in my situation with the covert narcissist, that I started responding in ways and feeling like I was going out of my freaking mind. I was doing things I was embarrassing myself. I was humiliating myself in front of other people, in front of that narcissist. And this is their way of getting supply. This is their way of trying to get a reaction out of you. And I did a video last year about narcissistic baiting. So if you don't know anything about the bait and switch tactic, please check out that video that I made in, I think it was April of last year. But that's what they do. They try to bait you into a reaction. They try to get you to respond in a way that will give them even more supply. Because the thing about the covert narcissist, your gut tells you that something is off, but you can't put your finger on it, and that's what they want you to do. And so when you try to communicate with them about a disconnect or a distance or a problem in the relationship, they will just either dismiss it, or they will make you feel like you're going crazy, or you're needy, or you are the bad person. And that's their way of trying to maintain control over you, because they are shells of people. They have very low self-esteem. They have very low self-worth. And their way of trying to maintain control over you is by doing little passive aggressive things to push your buttons. So another example, let's say that you have a fear of abandonment. You've gone through abandonment issues as a child. You were abandoned, by your original caregiver, or you grew up with narcissistic parents. And you tell your covert narcissist that, I'm very sensitive to abandonment. I'm very sensitive to being ghosted and things like that. That narcissist will download all of that information that you're giving to them, and they will use that to punish you in further uses if you piss them off, or if you inflict a narcissistic injury of some sort. So that narcissist may ghost on you. That narcissist may give you a silent treatment. That narcissist may stonewall you. They know that is something that will push your buttons. So the victim of the covert narcissistic abuse is constantly trying to regain that communication, trying to get that person to communicate with them. So they'll send 50 texts, they'll send 50 Facebook messages, or try to get other third-party people to try to figure out what's going on. So you're acting and behaving in ways that makes you look psychotic, that makes you look like you're crazy. And then what I call your inner psycho bitch comes out. You start wanting to key their car. You start wanting to trash all their shit. You start wanting to, come over there and beat their ass. You start behaving in ways that you yourself don't recognize. And it's not until you leave the relationship and realize that, wow, I acted and behaved in ways that were toxic. And that's what they wanted you to do. They wanted to destroy your psyche. They wanted to destroy your credibility. And so that way, the people or the mutual friends or the people that are around you and the covert narcissist, they only see you acting crazy, the victim. They don't see anything that the covert narcissist is doing. They only see you responding to the shit that they're doing. So the narcissist has proof that, oh, this guy is crazy, or this woman is acting like a psycho, or things like that. And your credibility is shot, your reputation is shot, and then you find yourself apologizing because you took that bait, instead of realizing that, this person is a piece of shit. This person is trying to manipulate me. This person is psychologically, mentally, and emotionally abusing me. And I need to get out of this relationship. But the reason why us survivors or victims stay in these kind of relationships is because we are still trying to heal from our trauma. We look for these codependent relationships in order to feel whole, because that covert narcissist has made us a whole host of promises of not leaving us, of always being there for us, of pretending to listen to us, pretending to be our friend or be our partner or be our mate. And it was all a lie. And the covert narcissist, they wear masks. So they might be one way with you, then they might be another way with another friend, or maybe another way at work, or another way. It's their way of trying to hide who they really are. Because if the world found out who they really are, and once that mask slips, they know that they're not going to be accepted. They know that they're not going to be loved for who they are. So that is why they pretend and mirror you and try to pretend that they are empathetic and that they're compassionate and that they are good listeners and things like that. And they're not. They are not. They're not any of those things. And so if you find yourself involved in a a relationship with a covert narcissist, I would look for the following signs. I would look for passive aggressive behaviors. So, what is passive aggressive behavior? So, passive aggressive behaviors are things like exclusivity. So, you were originally always invited to parties by that covert narcissist. All of a sudden, you're finding out that, oh, that covert narcissist is having parties and dinners and inviting other people and sitting there telling you, oh, Bobby came over and, Jane came over and we had a wonderful time. Well, I didn't get an invite. I didn't know anything about this party or anything like that. Oh yeah, we just decided to just have a small gathering. That shit's done by design. That shit is done to fuck with your self-esteem, to screw with your psyche, and to make you, to devalue you. And and they know that if you have those abandonment issues, they know if you have those issues of low self-esteem and you're in the process of healing from previous abuse, they know that you're going to respond in some way, especially if you have a history of having a bad temper, if you have a history of abuse and things like that. They know that you're going to respond negatively. So that is why they do things like that. So exclusivity is a trait. Non-committal communication. So you may try, you might be trying to have a normal communication with your narcissist, and they don't validate they don't validate your experience. So you might tell that narcissist, hey, I feel that you're distancing from me. You went from contacting me 2 and 3 times a week to now contacting me either once a week or never. What's up with that? How, is it something I said? Is it something that I did wrong? I want to communicate with you in order to have a healthy relationship. Oh, nothing went wrong. Everything's okay. I just been busy and things like that. And you find out that they're just chilling at home on a Friday, Saturday night. And, they're just choosing and they're having other people coming over. They're not inviting you to things. They're not asking you to hang out anymore and things like that. So it gets you feeling like crap because it's like, well, what in hell, what happened? Why am I all of a sudden being shunned from things? Why am I all of a sudden being pushed away? And you'll ask the narcissist, is there ways that, I can improve on working things out? So it's you being the one that's always trying to work the relationship out. It's you being the one trying to fix things. And that narcissist is kind of just nonchalant and just, I don't know what you can work on. I don't know what you can fix and things like that. So I would pay attention to the non-committal language. I would pay attention to vague statements such as maybe, I'm not sure, possibly. Those are invalidating comments and invalidating phrases to invalidate your experience, to invalidate the relationship as a whole, and they make it like it's up to you to fix the relationship, and it creates a one-sided relationship, like you're the one that's trying to work on changing yourself, and in reality they're not trying to change anything, and how they treat you or do anything different. Another thing that I would look for from a covert narcissist is how, we talked about passive aggressiveness. We talked about non-committal language. I would look for just ways that they make you feel. Like, go with your gut. If your gut is telling you that something is wrong, if your gut is telling you that this person is not being true to me, no matter how hard I try to reason with this person, I would plan my exit. I wouldn't try anymore. You have communicated with this person. You have tried to find ways to work things out. If that person continues to speak to you in ways that is non-committal, then that person is manipulating you. They're emotionally manipulating you. They are emotionally abusing you. They're psychologically abusing you. And it's not worth you trying. It's not worth your psyche. It's not worth you trying to fix. It's not your responsibility to fix that covert narcissist. So if you find yourself if you find yourself having to play detective, having to, ask other people questions about your covert narcissist, whether it's a friendship, whether it's your husband or your wife or your girlfriend or your boyfriend or things like that, that's a red flag. That is something that your life is too short. Life is too short to be playing detective or playing super sleuth, trying to figure out where you stand with your covert narcissist, because these are things that they want you to do. And ghosting is another thing that they do. So you can be having a conversation with them via Facebook Messenger or via text or anything like that, and then all of a sudden they stop communication. And this is a way of trying to get you to chase after them. This is their way of trying to get you to, please comment on my, please talk to me. Please do so. It's a way of trying to get you to be desperate enough to chase after them and to get them to communicate with you. So if you find yourself in a relationship with a covert narcissist, I would run from them. I wouldn't walk away. I would run away, because it's not worth your mental health. It's not worth your psychological health. Covert narcissists have ways of making you feel like you are bipolar. They make you feel like you have borderline personality disorder, when in reality you may have CPTSD, which is complex post-traumatic stress disorder. And in my next video, I'm going to talk about how the narcissists, whether it's covert or overt narcissists, make you feel like you're going crazy. They will make you feel like you have BPD. They will make you feel like you have, BPD meaning borderline personality disorder. They will make you feel like you have bipolar disorder. They will make you feel like you have schizophrenia. They will make you feel like you have all of these other things. And in reality, you may not even have any of those things. You are responding in a way that, that you've reached your breaking point. And when you start if you find yourself always arguing with that covert narcissist, if you find yourself exercising or exhibiting your inner psycho bitch quite more often than not, to where you're keying his car, where you're burning his clothes, where you are constantly wanting to harm yourself or harm the narcissist and things like that, you got to get the fuck out of there. That is not a healthy relationship. That is not someone that you want to spend any time with. That is a person that is trying to drive you to your breaking point, and you don't let nobody drive you to a place where you are, where they're pushing your sanity. And I will tell you, when I was dealing with the covert narcissist, I was constantly on edge. I wasn't eating. I was losing a lot of weight. I was neglecting my bills. I was neglecting my responsibilities. And it wasn't until I decided to end that relationship that it was a sense of relief. It was a sense of, I got my power back. I got my confidence back. I started learning who I am again. And this is why my channel is called Narcissistic Abuse, Learning Who You Are Again. Because once you're involved with that narcissist, you forget who you are. Because that narcissist is the person that gives you your identity. That narcissist is the person who gives you your sense of, defines your sense of reality. And I'm going to also talk about how we should not lose our sense of self in relationships with other people, that no relationship defines you. No relationship should ever should ever make or break you. So we should never get into a relationship with someone, especially with a covert narcissist or an overt narcissist, where we feel that we can't live without that person. And that's how I was feeling. I felt that, I can't live without this relationship, and that this relationship is my everything, and this relationship is what defines me. And it wasn't until I left that relationship that I realized a few things. Number one, nobody owes me a relationship, no matter how good I am. My relationships are not guaranteed to last, no matter how good I am. And that my relationships are my purpose for having relationships is to give of myself, and to have and to receive mutual respect, and to have someone who will honor my core values. So always define and realize what your core values are. For me, my core values is honesty, integrity, and respect. I think I had four, but I forgot what the fourth one was. But my main three are honesty, integrity, and respect. And if someone's lying to you, which that was something that the covert narcissist was doing, was constantly lying to me, that's a deal breaker. That's someone that is not honoring who you are as a person. And that is someone that you need to let go of. So so if you find yourself clinging to a covert narcissist, if you find yourself thinking that you're batshit crazy, and you are constantly listening to excuses and enduring passive aggressive behavior, passive aggressive communication, passive aggressive thoughts and feelings, and that person is not sharing themselves with you, you need to get the hell away from that person or from these people, because they're toxic. They're toxic individuals, and you're better than that. And you need to believe for yourself that I'm not sure what happened there. You need to believe for yourself that you're better than that. So it all starts with you. It all starts with having a healthy sense of self. So thank you for watching my video. Sorry for the long, almost 3-month hiatus. Just been going through a lot of things. Please stay tuned for more videos. This is Kevin Murphy, and I hope to talk to you soon. Have a good one. Bye.